Well, adolescence is a vulnerable period of brain development.
And increasing evidence shows that social media use may be linked to risky health behaviors and depression in teens.
A new peer-reviewed study on this was just released in the British Medical Journal, and Dr. Zorba Paster is here to tell us more about it. Hi, Zorba.
Hi, good to see you guys.
Good to see you. Tell us a little bit about this study, boy. These screens are a parent's worst nightmare.
Right, and that is exactly it. So the study was a compilation of other studies looking at social media and how social media affects our children. And what they were looking at specifically were alcohol, tobacco, illegal drug use, marijuana use, and a whole bunch of other things. And what they discovered was that kids who were on social media, especially teenagers, for 2 to 3 hours a day were almost twice as likely to engage in alcohol use prematurely, in marijuana use, 85% much more likely to smoke cigarettes, and a whole bunch of other things that really were untoward behavior. And I think part of this is showing the influence of social media on our teenagers, and we have to do something about it.
So we've talked about this many times, how you're supposed to limit the time on social media, but Zorba, it is easier said than done. Let's be real about this.
Of course. And I'll tell you about it. One reason that it's easier said than done is parents often don't limit the time that they're on social media. All you have to do is go to a soccer game and see parents, they may be looking at their phone instead of looking at their kids playing soccer or hockey or baseball or that. So the only way to begin to limit social media is also for parents to limit social media. And I think one of the things to do is once a week, pick a particular night where you call it a social media end night, and no one touches social media after a certain time of night, and see what happens. But we've got to develop some ways as a parent to teach our children the right way, because they're being influenced, and that influence is really making a difference, and it's not a good difference in their lives.
That's a really good idea. I mean, that'd be hard for the parents too. Everybody has to be on their phone for that.
Oh yeah, it's called unplugged.
Yeah,
unplugged. I mean, go to a typical restaurant, and often you'll see a mom and dad and 2 or 3 kids, and they're all looking at their phone. They're looking at their phone instead of looking at each other. So part of it is a parental thing, and I think that's why we have so much difficulty. We don't like to shut this thing off either, any more than anyone else. And that's part of the secret. The most important thing here is that more and more studies have shown that social media is having a deleterious effect on our children. And as a parent, you have to figure out with your children, especially your teenagers, how you're going to limit the social media that they're using so that they're not influenced as much as they are.
All right. Zorba Paster, thank you once again for joining us.
Thanks, Zorba, and Merry Christmas if we don't see you. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
We'll see you next year. I think that's the first time I've said that this year. Thank you, Zorba.